Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a little how to get started video in Ymir, because it's, as of right now, it's the New Year's Day, and tomorrow a whole lot of new players are gonna join the closed beta test. And to save us from a little bit of how to do this and how to do that kind of questions in the Discord chat, I am making this video just to get people started and hopefully on the right track, so we can at least get rid of some of the basic questions, because there are gonna be a lot of it. So first things first, the only thing you have to consider when making a character or your nation is what type of climate you want to start in. That's about it. There are, of course, pros and cons for everything, though there are definitely a lot more pros with the cold and temperate climates, because you have more stuff to grow, and the cold and temperate climate tends to be a little bit more heavy on wood, which is one of the most important resources in the game, you know, except for the tropical regions, which is basically rainforest, but that has other drawbacks like health issues. Now, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to deselect the arid and tropical. And also, please, if you're joining a multiplayer server, get rid of the succession. Because sometimes if you join a real-time server, the timer for someone getting inactive is roughly 2 hours. So if a player has not logged in for 2+ hours, you might end up with his or her nation, and that might piss that person off. So just be sure to uncheck that. Unless if you ask the server owner if it's okay, then, you know, go for it. But anyway, this is, of course, this is my personal server that is running right now. It started just before New Year's. It has been going for about a week, and yeah, I'm going to join as a primitive tribe. We'll see if we get a Nordic or if we get some Central European region. Well, let's get to it. Now, there's going to be a lot of text, because every time you start the game, you are prompted with a little tutorial that you have to finish before proceeding. So if you want to read, you can just pause the video. I'm not going to read. And okay. I actually know where I am on the map, because I have explored this area on my other nation. So the first thing you ever want to do is settle where you start. Because every time you explore one of the tiles on the map, you have the chance of getting events. And events can be good things. They can also be horribly, horribly awful events, like primitives attack you, bandits attack you, or you lose 100% of your formation, which is basically everyone dies. Yay! So we're gonna just go right ahead and click the little button down here, orders, take the settle, and there we go. We have started our first city, and it prompted us with a new quest in our tutorial. So we're just gonna enter the city and see what it looks like, if it's any decent, or if we may have to move at a later date to some more permanent position. Okay, so right off the bat. Takes a little while to load in the sprites. Oh, a group of 10 warriors has been wandering the lands. Yes, we can accept them. We got coal and limestone. Some wheat, more wheat, a little bit of water. But first things first, water. And a little bit of fish in the pond. And it will prompt us with a new mission right there, which says that we should go hunting. And hunting is the most important part, because some people in the past has settled another region because it has more, food like wheat and stuff like that, and then they forget about actual animals, because meat is one of the most important resources for food. And you can see there's a lot of wheat. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Thank you. Oh, we actually got wheat and carrots. Okay, I'm not going to complain about that. That is actually quite good. And we need a woodcutter. This is a good area. We need a flint collector. And we need a tool maker. Now, it doesn't matter where you place your buildings on the map. Everything is based on a region scale stockpile, so there's no travel time for people to pick it up or anything. They just take it from the resource tab. Over here you have the build tab, resources, and you have formations, which you use for, well, military. And you can see here we have a formation of 12 warriors. I'm gonna change your name. And you can see the game is quite generous at times. Yeah, sure, we can use a couple more, why not? We are going to use you at some point anyway. Now, this tab over here, which you can access by clicking the region menu, is all the information you ever need to know about your settlement. As you can see right now we have a growth of 6.2, which is the total population increase per generation, and the active plus one is the amount of workers we get every 3 minutes, and 0.1 is not the best. So yeah, but it will increase, so don't worry. The things you have to do right now is not the most important. We have to make sure that the tools worker is up and running, and that should be it to finish that part of the quest. Anytime, there we go. Defending the tribe is just getting a new formation, place it somewhere, and change from army to militia. Go to the range unit. We get the rock throwers, which is a somewhat new unit. And be sure to click the plus sign for a new troop, and some more rock throwers. Tribe of Hungry Nomads, yes. So, here comes the first thing about the game. This is not like Civilization, where you go down a tech tree, which you select, which path you want to go. The game picks technologies for you, depending on what you do and what you build, and how much of it you build. But the first thing, or first tech you will ever get, is the sedentary life, which basically gives you the ability to build houses, which for a city builder is quite important. But unless you get this tech, you will not progress ever. Everything is locked behind that. But it only takes roughly 7 seconds if you have the max amount of farmers, which is 10. And the next quest is to build 10 houses, which is super easy. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and done. And First Explorers, which is the final quest before the game opens up. And there we go. Now you're free to do whatever you want. As long as you don't, you know, kill yourself directly. Which can be kind of hard, because as you see right now, our vital needs is down to 37%, and below 70% you are losing people, basically because you can't feed them. And yeah, let's go back to the world map a little bit. Now you can see there's a city over here. It's a free city. Free city doesn't do anything as of right now. You are supposed to be able to trade with them at a later date, so and you can't attack them. But hopefully everything will be just fine. Now you can enter regions around your units and your cities, because you can see them, they are visible. So let's just go down here and check out our neighboring system, and you can see, you could probably see that there was a light bulb coming up in the top, which indicates that we got a new idea. And I have a fairly certain good idea what it could be. It could be wells, which can be one of the trickier ideas to trigger, and it is indeed wells. Now, the way you trigger this idea is to only have one water collector. Only one. If you build two, you will never get it. And that can be a real big problem if you try to settle on, like, well, any region that doesn't have a water source on it. Like you see here, we have a river, which is quite good. You can also see that we got some iron deposit here, and you can access the tooltip menu by holding down the right mouse button. But there doesn't seem to be anything else of well, great importance for us. There's some clay over here, but sadly this clay here is inaccessible because it's in the middle of the river, and you can't build bridges at the early stage. You can't even build roads. They come a little bit later, but not too far away. The bridges, however, is an Iron Age era thing. And I'm gonna go in here to the government, which has the knowledges, which, you know, could be good to actually get wells up and running. And the first thing you actually want to do after settling is find a region that has copper and or tin, because that is the next two ores you will need for progressing in the game. Now, of course, you'll also have the you will also have to have the idea for mining, which can be a bit tricky to trigger as well. And this area has some carrots, and it got some llamas. Llamas is a good source for wool and meat. And there is also one thing that people ask a lot about: which animal is the best to, breed. All the animals give exactly the same amount of food. It's just that sheep and llama also gives you wool if you have wool pastures, and ostriches and chickens and bunnies doesn't give leather, which can be a problem. We got the idea for throwing sticks, which will give us the javelin, which will give us weapon makers, and also some javelins just because it's nice like that. Now, another thing to reconsider when starting is not to spend all your resources at once. Try and have a little bit of a stockpile, because you are going to need it. As you can see right now, I have 84 wood. We are going to need a lot of wood. A lot of wood indeed, because you may want to build a fortified position. And actually this hill right here with the coal and limestone is a great area for fortification. And let's see here, can we actually do something like this? I am going to build a palisade. As you can see, you can place this here because this area is currently inaccessible. Well, how do we fix that? You go to infrastructure and build stairs. There we go. And we can now do like this. And just like that, we have a perfectly defendable position. They will have to get up here and try to bash down the walls to attack our stone throwers that I'm going to place there. And this is also one thing people have problems with, and that is the defensive zones. Now, you could click and hold and just do something like this and mark this area as a defensive zone. That works. Or you can just take your stone throwers, drag them out to this, and over here you see there's a little drop down menu. It says pitch battle and defensive zone. Pitch battle means that they will go out and fight the enemy in the open, and defensive zone means they will stay inside this defensive zone until anything gets close enough, then they will go out and fight them. Now, the thing that you want to do is use your mouse wheel. If we go from the pitch battle, defensive zone, restricted engagement, which means that they will not attack anything that is, in this case, 8 tiles or more away from it, which can be quite handy, but the best thing comes right after it. Stand ground. This is perfect for range unit like stone throwers, javelineers, archers. They will not move. They're gonna stay put, and once enemies come inside their range, they're gonna shoot at it. So we're gonna, keep those people at there, and I'm gonna place down the rest, these guys. Do the same here, and done. Now you can go into the strategic tool and you can see that these are on stand ground. These guys are still on the pitch battle because, well, they're warriors. They're gonna do it. And I just did something you should not do. When you are in the strategic mode, do not enter the world map because the game crashed. So I'll be right back. And there we go. And while I was, crashing, the game finished our 2 ideas that we were researching. So we now got the access to wells and also the weapon maker. So at least we got that going for us. Now, the weapon maker is in itself not important to build unless you want to build more javelins, which you do, because javelin throwers are really good at defending your base. But for that we got to get some more people working, woodcutters especially. And how many? We got 12 javelins, which means that we could get to the old pigs here and disband one of the rock throwers and then get javelineers. And you can see the difference here. Over here you have the total amount of units. Rock throwers has a total of 10, javelineers has 15. So right off the bat you got 50% more units. And also you can see here range skill is 2 on rock throwers, 3 on the javelineers, which means that they're better at hitting stuff. You can also see that they got a little bit more damage and they got more than double the range. So of course we're gonna get the max amount. We're gonna get to the strategic and place them over here as well. And done. Perfect. Now let's see, you're gonna place the weapon maker. I'm gonna place you. Where are my? There you are. Tools workshop. Now, once all that is built, and we should also build the well, because water is gonna run out, and we can only build water collectors within 10 or 12 tiles. Let's see here. Should it say here? 15 tiles away from any other building. So this little pond here is, it's one collector only. If you have a river or a lake or a coast, you can just ignore that, but make sure to get the idea for wells first before placing multiple collectors, because otherwise you can be quite screwed. Now, once all that is done, what I usually do is, well, it's a bit of a controversial way to progress. In the government tab you can access the social policies, and there's also always one active when you start, and that is food rationing. And the first thing here is pretty good, minus 40% food consumption. Okay, but next one, minus 25% building efficiency. Not so good. Third one, plus 40% population conflict. Also not so good. And plus 15% population stress. Now, what conflict does is it's basically people killing each other, crime and stuff like that, and stress just increases it. And the higher conflict you have, the lower your loyalty becomes. So I'm gonna go and revoke this policy, get rid of it, and the growth is gonna just plummet down, but we should not worry too much. This is, after all, a civilization empire builder thingy. And you can see that conflict is currently trying to increase to 28. Our loyalty is increasing to 93. And loyalty is one of the most important things to check every now and then, because if this drops down below 30, you have a chance of a popular revolt happening, and that could be the end of your game. Because basically more than half of the people will rise up, including soldiers, to, you know, take it from you. So be sure to stay away from that. And you can see the gathering camps are working really hard. This one not so much. Why is that? Because this guy is working all that by himself, so we can move you over there. Now this is only possible in the first stages. Once you upgrade this to a level 2 building, you cannot move it anymore, and that is possibly one of the best things about this game. You can move around your buildings however much you want, and you want to place your stockpiles inside your defensive zones to force the barbarians that will come in a little bit, to force them to, you know, get to your soldiers and bang themselves against the wall and die horribly. Now, this is not an exploit or anything, this is the way it's intended. The developer said that the game more or less works like a tower defense, except you don't have any towers in the beginning. You will get them later. They are quite effective, I would say. And let's see, do like that. And you can also place down some empty ones for further expansion, just like that. Now, not sure if we're gonna see it in this video, because it's gonna be not so much longer. And when a invasion happens, or raid or sacking, usually a raid, what will happen is you cannot build anything. The UI gets more or less blank. The sidebar here disappears. You can't build, you can't order your troops. So if you haven't put your soldiers in a defensive position when they attack, well, good luck. You're gonna need it, because you can't issue orders or anything. Everything is automated, so lag is not an issue. The soldiers will more or less target the enemy they think is the most appropriate to kill. But don't worry too much. Everything will be well, much easier at a later stage. It's a little bit overwhelming at first, but just playing it will make it seem more and more, well, obvious. So, what else do we have to go over? We got the culture over here, which basically indicates how much of knowledges you can get, which is over here. As you can see right now, we have a total of 48, which is a tenth of our total culture, which is 480. And for every 10 points of culture, you get 1 extra point of knowledge. And of course, every idea costs a certain amount. Now you can see that Sentinel cost 2. That is not a lot, because very soon they're gonna cost 10, 20, 40, 50, 100, 200, and yeah, you are going to need to expand pretty quickly. But here's the thing, do not expand too quick, or you're gonna, you know, screw yourself over. Try and expand at a steady pace, and always make sure that you don't have slums like we have here. This is just a, well, a show off to get you guys started, not a actual let's play. And ooh, we got hunting companions. Hunting companions will allow us to get the level 2 hunter. Very important, because meat is super important at the early stages. But saying that, let's jump on over to my other nation and take a look at what you can build at a later stage. So I'll be right back. And we're back. And as you can see over here, down here is where we were just a few seconds ago. And this, my dear friends, is the current kingdom. And you can see this map is quite big. This is all that I have explored, and there's a landmass over here probably. I have heard rumors of someone settling there, a certain blue neighbor. And I'm gonna jump in here to my capital city, and you're gonna see more or less the mid-tier buildings that I have built currently, and what you can expect to build. Now, I have not unlocked the ironworking stuff or anything like that, but you can see right now, right here, that all of a sudden it looks more civilized. There's a lot more, you know, medieval age or early, well, not really classic, because we're way past classic at this point, although we don't have, say, iron or steel, but we're about 900 BC. No, not BC, 80. BC will be classical age. But anyway, we got we got some storage jars here that hold a lot more than these basic ones. These hold 16, and these guys hold 128. A little bit more. And we got a little bit more resources to choose from. We got copper ore, tin ore, iron ore, silver, we got gold, we got bronze, we got charcoal, coal. I got cotton, I got textile, bricks, mud bricks, we got clay and stone blocks, we got planks, axes, shovels, hoes, and I am producing rugs, cloth, leather cloth, furniture, javelins, bows, longbows, spears, battle axes, paddle armors, shields, bronze shields, helmets, mud, and we got a lot of social goods, like building, actual, you know, builders building stuff. We got cargo for trading, we got tax collection, we got justice, doctors, we got community, water, schools, laundry, scribes, guarding, and libraries. And libraries is the best thing in the game, because it will boost your knowledge space up with a whole heck of a bunch. As you can see, our culture is 16,000, which means that I should have, you know, about 1,600 in knowledge juice. Nope. I got a 3,000 boost from libraries. So I am way past, and you can see I have a whole lot of ideas over here. There are a lot of things to research in this game, and most of it you are going to need. Now, of course, the weapon ideas can more or less be forgotten once you know, not using it anymore. But yeah, I think this is more or less showing the basics and a little bit more about what to do and what not to do. So hopefully you guys will enjoy Ymir and help us improving it. And in the meantime, I will probably make a few more videos if it's needed. But until then, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share the videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and bye-bye.